Yo, you already know who it is. It's King Jones, and welcome to the Football Pull-Up. Let's make some noise, people.
Yeah, man.
Let's make some noise.
Cheers.
We've got the Podfather here. What's going on with the Podfather? What's happening? It's been a while.
Woo. It's tough. It's not easy. Man. Thankfully, this heat wave is done. So
yeah.
So we can get back to normal.
Exactly. We got great news. Me and the Podfather are welcoming a new person to the show. Let's make some noise for Joe, aka Further Joe.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Yeah.
Looking at your shirt, people are going to assume you're a Benfica fan. Is that?
I'm a football fan. Okay. I'm a football fan first. Yeah, football fan first. I'm Arsenal though, so yeah, this could be biased.
I'm outnumbered now to 2-1. But it's like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yo, Pod, tell Joe about the fact about Benfica. Because remember, you mentioned it to me the other day.
Benfica have made the most money from transfers in the last 10 years in the whole of Europe.
I believe that as well.
Which is crazy. Yeah.
Which is nuts.
Think of, like they have separate, like Cavani, Di Maria, Matic, David Luiz, João Felix, loads of guys, loads of strikers, you know what I mean? So yeah. Their scouting team is off the chain, you know what I mean? So
yeah, we need to steal that.
Yeah. So, I'm gonna go straight into it because the transfer season, there's so much to talk about, outside the actual friendlies. Sterling and Koulibaly to Chelsea. One, I want to ask you both: are they good signings? And are either of them world-class players? We're gonna start off with you, Pod, because obviously you're a Chelsea fan. So we just want to get your perspective on it.
Yeah. So yeah, I want to keep it as real as possible. I don't want to, some people when you sign a player, all of a sudden they become world class. I want to give it an honest opinion. Yeah. So I've never thought that Sterling was world class. I always thought he was a very good player.
That's crazy.
But I never put him in that like world class bracket. I just don't put him in like Hazard and Salah and Mane. I don't put him in that bracket. But I still think he's a very effective, good player. Like he's going to be consistent with numbers. If numbers is your metric for world class, then yes. So, he's in that category, but for me, it takes a bit more than that.
So what more? What more? Just to get some clarification. What is he missing? Because he has the numbers of those guys you mentioned, but what is he missing?
Okay. Let me give you an example. Like a world class player, like when the system fails, when the team is not creating chances, nothing. Those guys can still win you the game. They can just say, you know what, I'm taking the ball, I'm being 4 or 5 guys, and putting it in the top corner. I've never seen him do that personally. Okay. He always works well within the system, and it's not his fault because Man City is run like a machine. So you don't really get that chance to see too much from those sort of players. I don't know if he takes the scruff of the neck of the game like the way De Bruyne does. Even sometimes the way Mahrez does. Yeah, I mean, like for me, he's just a very good technical.
You think he's a very good system player?
I won't say system because I've seen him do it for England as well. I've seen him do it 1 or 2, but definitely the system helps. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like Guardiola's system is there to get the best out of those like inside forwards and all those type guys. So. I think most guys would work there, and he's been very consistent. Mm-hmm. And I think I saw his stats were I think for Guardiola only. I think he's the second highest player if you add goals and assists, apart from Messi. In Guardiola's career, so all the players he's managed.
Lewandowski and all those.
Aguero, Robin, all those guys. Yeah. So he's second. So the guy he has records to his name. Mm-hmm. I'm just not 100% sure. In terms of Koulibaly. For me, 100% world class, ready to go. Now everybody will say, "Huh?
World class today?" You mean?
Yeah, world class today. Now everybody will say, "Oh well, he doesn't have the same shine that he had from like 3-4 years ago when everybody was getting crazy or whatever." But I think that's just what happened. The news cycle moves on. It's not like the player diminishes because I've looked at his stats in Serie A, and they've been pretty much similar levels to what they were 3-4 years ago. The only difference is you're playing for a team that doesn't win that much. Okay. Yeah. So all of a sudden, when they weren't contending for Serie A, people stopped looking at them as much or whatever. But from what I've gathered stats wise, he hasn't really been injured that much or whatever, and he's still been playing excellently. 31, just won the African Nations Cup as well. People should remember that, put some respect on that. For Senegal, captained them to the African Nations Cup. And his skill set is what excites me the most because pace. Aggressive technique, passing, right foot, left foot. Yeah, we can play on both sides. So yeah, so that's what's got me really excited about the signing.
Okay, and I'm going to ask you the same thing, Joe. What do you think about these signings? Good signings for Chelsea, and also are these players world class?
Sterling, yeah. I don't even need to think about that. Yeah, I think Sterling's world class. I think the signing is brilliant for them. I think they've got a brilliant project going on this season.
Yeah.
It's tough because if you say no, he's not world class because he doesn't pick the game up when they're on their knees, I think there's not many players that can single-handedly take the game from not happening for that team to almost winning. Like, you know what, Ronaldo can do that. Well,
of course.
He can, but, back in the day, he was doing that all the time. Messi was doing that. He's picking up halfway line, scoring goals for fun. But that's like the elite level, isn't it? That's like elite level. You're never going to get there. And then I think there's this pool of players underneath which are world-class. And I think, Sterling fits in that. Yeah. As a winger, he scores goals. He assists. He's got so many appearances. He's got like 300 appearances or just under or something for Man City. Yeah. He's a senior player at England level. He feels like he's been around longer than his age. What he's like, how old is he? 27 years old. He feels like he's been around for ages. Yeah. I know you said before that can they be a legend leaving in their 20s, but it really matters what they do. Like, I think there's players that are legends for certain clubs that were there like 4 years. Like it's quite relative. But for me, Sterling is world class. Yeah. I would have taken him at Arsenal, like, of course, like that. I would have taken him at Arsenal like that. So
you guys were linked in before us. Like that was the, like, if you guys had got Champions League, I think that was definitely a real possibility.
Fifth place stopped that, didn't it? Just my personal opinion on Sterling. What I will say is, I think he's a top player. I think overall, his Man City career has shown that he's class. I think he's world class. I think of the last couple of years, he falls into that category of haven't been world class for a couple of years just because of due to benching and lack of performances, maybe, and lack of games. So it's understandable that Chelsea, especially Chelsea fans, will be a bit questioning, like, is he the old Sterling or is he on the decline? But I believe that Sterling that was at Man City when he was at his best was top class. And I also think that his best season for Man City actually was the season Liverpool won the league, because I think Aguero wasn't scoring like that. The other players weren't performing. He was the only one that was really performing. But because Man City kind of as a whole team fell off, it made made his performances look like they weren't special. But I do think that Sterling has showed himself as a player for England also that is hungry enough to want it. I don't think he's going to Chelsea for a paycheck. I don't think he's going there to, just kind of dive out the rest of his career. I do think he wants to get back to the original Sterling. The only question marks I have about Sterling...
That's definitely something I'm looking forward to. I think he's coming with a point.
The only question I have about Sterling is if Chelsea play in a way to actually get the best out of him, or if they're going to change the way they play to get the best out of him. Koulibaly just makes sense. He's 31 years old. They needed experience. He's a direct replacement for Rudiger. He makes their team better since losing Rudiger. I think overall it's fantastic signings that get them closer to the league than they would have been if they didn't sign them. And plus they weren't that expensive. Sometimes you've got to spend money even if you're going to lose money, because I don't think they'll get any money back on Koulibaly. But
in my mind, we just signed another Thiago Silva. Yeah, I mean, like for me, I really feel the guy can be that good.
Yeah, he could be. Actually,
I think people are sleeping on him crazily. If this was 3-4 years ago, people would have been going nuts.
Yeah, but 3-4 years ago, he wouldn't have. He would have been way more expensive.
So it's the same thing with Sterling. 3-4 years ago, everybody would have been, But I think 31 for a defender is not all day. Like Van Dijk is 31.
Yeah.
You mature, don't you? You mature at that age. He's a different player now.
It depends on the kind of defender. Like he hasn't really had injuries. Like Varane is 28, or was 28 when he joined United. Yeah. But because of his injury record, he's an old 28. Yeah, I mean, while this guy is a bit different. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
So talking about players that may or may not be world class, and those sort of players that have been there and thereabouts, I actually want to talk about a player whose move has been seen as unambitious, but I've learned something new that you guys might not know about him. I'm actually talking about Paulo Dybala, who's gone to Roma for 100,000 a week on a free contract. Yeah. So the first thing I want to ask you, I'll start off with you, Joe. Do you think that was an unambitious move from him, or do you believe that a lot of the Premier League clubs that he would have liked to go to didn't want him?
I think if you move from in between Italian clubs or French clubs, even Spanish clubs, I think you are unless you're moving up, and I don't know how it's going to go with Roma this season.
Yeah,
I think it's unambitious, isn't it? I think if you will need to test yourself at the highest level, he's 28 now, so I mean, he's not going to be, he's at his prime. He's probably still in his prime just now. Yeah. I think he should have come to the Prem. I think he should have pushed for a Premier League move. I mean, even if it wasn't going to be the top 4, there was definitely going to be teams that would have taken him. 100 grand. That's not a lot of money. Now.
Yeah, most teams could have that.
For me, I'm unambitious, but Mourinho has that pull, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So Mourinho has that pull, so he might be planning out these huge goals for them all, and he might be seen as not an unambitious move at all. I don't know.
Now, to caveat to that, before we go to you, Pod, I just want to add that I just found out that he has put in a clause in his contract saying that he is available for 17 million next summer. Does that change anything? So next summer he'll be available for 17 million.
That's nuts.
Does that change? Know that. Yeah.
That's smart. That's very smart because
that's clever,
it covers Roma because Roma they'll get some of their money back. Yeah. And obviously allows him to leave if an offer comes in. I think the last couple of seasons he's been a bit injury prone. So I think he needs that season in it where he just doesn't get injured, racks up like 20 goals, gets back to where he was probably 2-3 years ago type thing or whatever. And I think with him, you always have to remember he wanted to go to Inter Milan, so he wanted the challenge. He wanted to go there, maybe try and do something in Europe, maybe win the league back or whatever. But they turned him down. So it's hard to say he's unambitious. I would have said he's more unambitious if he had the choice where he was going to go, rather than this is all that's left. You know what I mean? Because that's how it felt in terms of Italy. And from what I know, he's been in Italy since he was like 19, 18. Yeah. So he's pretty much almost Italian at this point, even though he's Argentinian. Yeah? He's lived there for like 10 years. Yeah? Probably married an Italian girl, probably did, having a great time there. Doesn't want to move country. His whole thing in the beginning was to move to Inter Milan. That was his first choice or whatever. So I can see why he's like, man, I'm not leaving the country. You know what I mean? Like, nah, I'm good. You know what I mean? I've won titles here. I've won almost, I think, even player of the season one time at Juve or at before. So he's like, listen, I've proved myself in Italian football. Yeah, the rest of the world probably doesn't recognize me as one of the greats, but at this point, it's going to be hard to change their mind with 2-3 years left or 4 years left of my career.
Out of the top
I think 17 million is a great fail-safe for him.
Out of the top 6, Joe, which clubs do you think Dybala gets into and possibly starts for? If we think about the top 6, the traditional top 6, if any.
Man United, he could get into. Their team's a mess. He could get into that. I think Arsenal, but at a push. But I don't know anyone. I don't think any of the other teams would have him. Like personally, in the first 11.
You don't think he starts for Tottenham?
Actually, that's a good point. I didn't know you were talking about Tottenham in the top 6. Sorry. Yeah, I do think he would start for Tottenham. I think again Tottenham are a mess, but I think they're going to be good this season. Their midfield needs strengthening, but he doesn't play in the centre midfield like that, does he? But yeah, Tottenham and Man United. I think everyone else, and at a push Arsenal, I think everyone else has got a good plan of what's happening. Yeah. And now, obviously, Spurs have now, but they're trying to shift out their midfield. But yeah, Man United definitely. I think they're a joke at the moment.
What about you, Pod? Do you look at it?
That's another thing. That's another thing because it's a World Cup year. Yeah. Do you want to move to another country, acclimatize to the league? You're not sure whether you're gonna start. When I can just I'm here. I know the language. I know the players. I can just go to Roma where I'm guaranteed to start.
Yeah.
If I score goals, maybe I start for Argentina with Messi up front. Who knows? You know what I mean? So there's some extra reasons why he would say that. In terms of teams that could use him, you'd almost have to change your system to accommodate him. I would personally take him to Chelsea. Yeah, because we have a space on the right. We don't really have anybody who's nailed on the right. Yeah. Ziyech, Hudson-Odoi, Pulisic. None of these guys are nailed on. They all have potential, but nobody's nailed on. So I would 100% take him. I don't know if you can play him as a winger. You must have to play him as like a number 10, but from the right, or inside forward. So you have to change the formation slightly. But yeah, I definitely think Chelsea could use him. I think Arsenal could use him, but you'd have to play him almost like a false 9. Type thing or whatever. I don't think.
Play him and Jesus off each other, kind of.
Yeah, I don't think he would display Saka on the wing or whatever. I don't think he can play him on the left either. So yeah, he either come and maybe take that Odegaard position, which I think is fair. I don't think Odegaard is 100% nailed down that position. So I think I think him and Dybala can definitely battle it out. You know what I mean, for that position. Who else? That's it. He wouldn't start Man City.
No.
He wouldn't start Liverpool. Yeah, that's it really. Yeah, I mean, although it's a funny one with Liverpool though, because this Nunez guy has looked shocking so far. Honestly, the guy's had like 2 air ball misses. Like literally, the guy like 5 yards ago, he swings and he completely missed. I'm shocked. Twice.
What I think about Dybala, I think that he's a victim of his own making in a sense. I think that in terms of ability, no one will. He's one of those players. No one will even question, does he have the natural ability? We've seen it. He's got a wand of a left foot, can volley, can shoot, he can pass, he can do all of that. But the first thing he did when his contract was running out was I saw teams like United coming for him. He, ran out United, Arsenal interested, Tottenham, and he basically offered us wages. He wanted everyone to pay like 250, near 300 grand to possibly get him. That automatically turns off most clubs. You know what I'm saying? On top of that, he's been on a decline. If you just watch his performances, everything has been on a decline since Ronaldo's come in, and he plays in a position and in a way that's kind of just not favorable anymore. Like no one plays the number 10 the way he plays it, the shadow striker, and no one really likes players that aren't workhorses anymore. Everybody has to kind of pick up their shift, especially in the Premiership. He's not really an athletic player. He doesn't have great work rate. So it's a situation, like you said, if you do bring him in, you have to play him in a different way, and most teams don't really want to outcast the rest of their system. So I agree with you. Is he naturally probably more ability than Odegaard? As an overall player, yes. But does he suit Arsenal's team more than Odegaard? No, not a chance. So, I mean, it's that sort of thing where I think clubs will take him, but they take him in the same way that a lot of clubs would take Ndombele. They take him for what they think he could be and the talent that he has versus what they probably would get. So I think on that situation, him going to Roma, I think that was the only team that were dead on wanted him and will play in a way to suit the way he is. So, I mean, I'm interested to see what he does because that 17 million clause will get released if he performs the way that he thinks he will. So going on to the next topic, this is big. You know what I mean? This has been all over summer. None of the top Europe teams want Ronaldo. Can any of you guys explain to me why? You know what I'm saying? Why don't they want him? And Man United currently right now are killing it in the friendlies. Them going for top 4, is that an achievement or is that expected? Either one of you can go.
Should I go first? Let me go first.
You go first. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, I just think very few teams are looking to play number 9s anymore. You know what I mean? So I think that straight out number 9s. I think that affects the move. Obviously, he stays. Was he 37? 37. Yeah. That affects the move. His wages.
500 grand a week.
I mean, his ego. That affects the move. I don't even think it's for like footballing reasons. I think it's for like everything else. Yeah, because I think if there's a footballing reason, you'd gamble on a player like that 100%. You sign him 1 or 2 years and see what can happen. But I think it's everything else that comes with the player. You know, I mean, the circus, is he happy with the manager? That you're just hearing all sorts of stories all throughout the season. You know, every time you bench him, it's a story. You know, if he doesn't score and he's looking at his teammates, it's a story. You know, you sign. So it's just the whole circus that comes with him. Is not just from a football sense, and even just from a football sense. Like I said, nobody really plays with, or they weren't. The funny thing is now Man City have gone back to like a number 9, and Liverpool have gone back to number 9, but they weren't playing with those recently. Bayern have stepped away from like the number 9 thing. I think I saw an interview with Nagelsmann. We were talking about how like now that Lewandowski is not there, that he can actually expand the way they play. They can play differently, and it's harder to mark. So he clearly wants to move away from that traditional number 9 system or whatever. So it just limits you where you can go. You can't go back to Spain because Real Madrid got Benzema. Barca just got Lewandowski. So it's like, where do you go? You go back to Italy? Where are you going back to? I mean, AC Milan, it's possible. Yeah, I mean, Napoli, I've heard a lot of links to. That's possible as well. The crazy one I've heard is Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, I heard of Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, I mean, they seem to be interested, which would be a crazy move. Yeah, people think about running and pressing. I was gonna, and they say you can't run and press. I was gonna play in a Simeone team if you can't run and press.
So what?
So yes, I don't know. it's surprising and at the same time it's not surprising because it's like there are very few teams that I thought could sign him anyway, and that was like Chelsea and PSG. It doesn't seem that they're interested at this point. Could change going forward.
So what do you think about this, Joe?
Pretty much nail on the head. He is a circus, and he built himself up that way. All last season, obviously, if he didn't get his goals, Man United would have been terrible. They wouldn't have finished where they finished. I think it puts unfair pressure on teammates. If you've got a certain system you want to play, and you're bringing Ronaldo in, you have to change it to adapt him. He is, one of the biggest world football stars ever, and he knows it. Everyone knows it. Like, I think Man United crumbled under pressure. I think some managers think, do we want that? Do we want him to come in the way he runs the club? Like, he almost takes over. It's like a power struggle. There's a lot of youth prospects in a lot of the top teams, and he can get under this. People are like, oh, that'd be really good for him to be like a mentor to them. Well, it also could put him under immense pressure. Because look how he treats his teammates who are experienced internationals already. It's like they're the worst players on the pitch, like ever. Like, they'll miss a free kick by an inch, and he'll complain like it's the worst thing he's ever done. But I think his wages, I think his other demands in his contracts, I think he's run his course, and I don't think he knows it, but everyone else does. Yeah. And I think, if he dropped his wages right down, I think people would take a punt on him.
100%.
But I don't think it would work like in the system, like exactly like Van said. Nines, they only work in a certain way, but you have to adapt the whole team to it. And I don't think he works. If you watch him last season, I think he was coming right back to win the ball, and then there was not like the wingers doing the same thing, thinking it's the right thing because that's what Ronaldo's doing, and then there's no play. And I think he's run his course personally, and I don't think he knows it because he's physical. He's in physical top shape, isn't he? He's probably the best athlete in world football, but they have to adapt. And some teams do not want to do that, do they? You can see it. But I think he'll get a move. I don't think he'll be at Man United end of the window. But I couldn't tell you where. I couldn't tell you where. It's such an up in the air one. I saw that Saudi one that they wanted to take, and he said no to that because he wants to push himself at a high level. I just don't know if a top team's going to come in for him, to be honest.
Yeah.
The only one I could say is a punt on Bayern. Obviously, they got no.
Well, they came out and said no. They came out. Oliver Kahn
but
said
all that is negotiation, man. You get me?
No, they came out.
Your price. Yeah. They're like, listen, no. Lower your price another $100,000. No.
They came out and they said
that before Lewandowski moved though?
No. So they came out and said that Harry Kane was the guy that they wanted.
I saw that.
Yeah. Harry Kane is the type. But I agree with you. Yeah, obviously, if they become desperate, they'll go for him. I think the problem with Ronaldo is, like you said, it's everything outside of football. Even Juve, Cellini came out and said when he left last year, the whole circus of him wanting to leave, and he should have just left earlier and it affected us. Nobody wants that. People want their team to be the focus of just football. They're not about just one player on the team. So yeah, I do agree that Ronaldo is probably another guy that has made himself difficult to work with.
Yeah.
And then 100%. What happens when you're difficult to work with, but yet you don't have the dividends, the goals and the performances to back it up, then people will just they don't see you as worth it. So let's quickly go on.
If I'm PSG, I might be like, listen.
What non-work courses with non-work courses?
They don't have
that would be horrible.
They don't have a number 9. Yeah,
but it's not a work course. Non-work courses with non-work courses.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, he works harder than all of them. He works harder.
They'll still be the laziest team. That'll be the laziest big team that we've seen. But
that's the funny thing. He works harder than their front three.
Yeah, he probably does. Yeah. The funny thing is, Mbappe used to be a workhorse back at Monaco, but
he's got it to his head, hasn't he? The power.
He used to be a workhorse. But yeah, so we haven't got too long left. We've got about 5 minutes. So I'm just going to run through a couple topics, probably spend 30 seconds to a minute on it, ask you both to be like the fast lightning section. Who do you guys think has been the best Premier League transfer so far and why? If you want me to name some of what I think is the best, then you guys can say who you think are the best out of them, or you just want to say off the cuff. But some of the best, I think, have been so far Jesus, Sterling, Haaland, Eriksen, Martinez at Man United, Bissouma, and that guy Spence. Who do you guys think? Who do you think has been the singular right now? If you had to tell off your head, price, status of player, what they've done before, how they fit into the team, who right now has been the best transfer for you guys?
For me, it's Koulibaly. For me, it's Koulibaly.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much you guys buying for?
I think 30 million for
potential
world-class player or whatever. Defense. Like people were saying that Rudiger, you're not gonna get no replacement as good as that, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
He might be better. Yeah, I mean, let's wait and see. Okay. So yes, I think him.
How much is he on wages?
One something. Like this, the thing we're gonna give Rudiger like 160, 180. Okay. Yeah.
What about you, Joe? Best signing.
Tied between me. I think definitely Haaland. I think Haaland all over, but that's an obvious one. And Jed Spence. For me, I think Jed Spence is going to be one of them.
Tottenham signing.
Fullback.
Yeah.
It's such a shame that he went to Spurs, but I think he's going to be one of them fullbacks who's going to do bits, and I think it's going to prove like fullbacks are so hard to get hold of, and if he does what his potential has of him, I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be world class. I didn't want to say it, but I said it.
Also, I forgot to say Perisic. Watch out for him. I think he could be excellent. For me, he was the best like left wing back. He
won Italian left wing back of
the guy can cut in, shoot with his right, shoot with his left, like 2 foot away.
I think it might be. Well, actually, Haaland. Yeah, Haaland. I mean, Haaland for the price makes sense.
Yeah,
for the price you get, he might be.
But the salary though. The salary.
Oh, okay. It might.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit much.
I'm leaning between. It might be Jesus or I might lean between Jesus or Bissouma. You know, I think those two players have got. Well, Jesus is not under the radar anymore, but I do believe when he first came before the friendlies played, people were just like, But I think he might go on to be a fantastic player from what he was to Arteta to the Arsenal club. The price we got him for the wages he's on, and I think
I like you guys. Yeah. I like it.
And I think Bissouma, based on the player that he already was at Brighton. He's gone under the radar. What is he? 30 million. Fantastic player. I think. You know, what I mean, I was unhappy when Tottenham got him, but you know, those I think.
Quick question. Do you think Eriksen will be better than Pogba?
Yeah.
United.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, because I think that, and we haven't got long left, guys. But I think that I don't know where he's going to play this year. I don't know. Is he going to take Bruno Fernandes' place? He's going to play him in centre mid. I don't know what's going to happen this season with him. Actually,
I think. I don't know, you know.
That's what I'm saying. I generally don't know where he's going to play.
He'll be a squad player, that's what he'll be.
But the thing is, he can play in like 2 or 3 positions at least.
Yeah.
So he can play like a registra, deep line playmaker, whatever. He can play almost like a box-to-box, you know, so whatever, like a number 10. So
let me. Okay, quickly. We're going to Tottenham. We've only got like 2 minutes left. So I'm going to ask you guys quickly. Tottenham are looking to get rid of 8 players. Do you think any of these players should be kept, and do you rate any of these players? We'll say it really fast. So I'm going to. So they're getting rid of Winks, Tanganga, Gil, Ndombele, Celso, reguilion, Emerson, Royal, or Doherty. Yeah. Any of those players.
I've always liked Ndombele, but it doesn't seem like a Conte signing. Yeah, but for me, he's still a good player. I don't care. I don't care.
What about you?
And Celso, I think, would be good on the Conte.
What about you? Any of those players?
Tanganga, I would get rid of everyone else. Yeah. Tanganga, I think, is all right. He had a good season. What was it like? A season and a half ago, something like that. I would keep him. I'd keep him in the squad. You don't want to get rid of too many players and then be down to bare bones. And I think Tanganga's he's one of the younger ones. So I think everyone else I'd get rid of though, 100%.
I like him as well.
Okay. And and last thing quickly, Lingard is holding out for 180,000. A host of teams are interested. Forest, Everton, Leicester, and Newcastle. Do you think any of these teams should pay him that? And where would you think he should go quickly? Pod.
No, it all depends. If he can reproduce that West Ham form, then everybody should take him.
Yeah.
If you think he's going to be the same Man United player that he was the last 2 seasons, then no.
Where should he go?
No, nobody's giving him.
Where should he go out of those?
I go to Newcastle. Newcastle has the biggest upside.
Yeah.
What about you, Joe? Do you think?
I think if Newcastle are doing a project, I think go there. I think he'll be one of the standout players. But I wouldn't pay him 180 grand. Yeah. No way. He's not good enough for 180. But I'd go Newcastle. I would go Newcastle, definitely.
And that was the lightning quick round, guys. You already know this has been amazing. Let's give a round of applause for Joe and his first show. Come on. He's been fantastic, guys.
Cheers.
Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you follow us on non-stop content. You guys can plug your own. Make sure you follow him on the Podfather. You follow me on King_Jones 2022. Do you want them to follow you on anything or?
My socials, not worth it at the moment. I'll sort it out next time.
He'll sort it out, guys. And this has been an amazing show as usual. Make sure you watch our other videos, watch our clips that are coming out, like, share, subscribe, comment, any sort of love you show us. We really respect this because we're doing this for free out of the love of our heart. You know what I'm saying? It's been a football pull out. We're out.
Cheers.